Dividing assets at time of divorce can be challenging in of itself. But if you have your own company, you could be facing a whole set of unique challenges that you're going to need to overcome. And in this video, I want to outline key steps to protect that company from being divided or even impacted altogether. Hi, I'm Sina Mohajer with Mohajer Law Firm. We specialize in family law, estate planning, criminal defense, and personal injury. In these mini-series, I like to tackle complex legal issues and try to simplify it for our viewers in order to give you the information and know-how on how to handle your own case yourself or perhaps of your own legal situation. So if you like the contents of this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you're always informed of any new videos being posted. And without further ado, I welcome you all to our new mini-series called A Walk in the Park. So how does divorce affect your business ownership? Well, you have to remember, California is a community property state, which means anything you acquire from the date of marriage to the date of separation is presumed to be community asset and it needs to be divided equally. And the way the court will determine if your company is a community asset or a separate, it will look at the time that business was started and what funds were used. A potential outcome, if the court determines it is a community asset, is really threefold. One, you have the option of buying out your spouse of their community interest in that business. Another one is a co-ownership agreement, so you can continue owning this business together and splitting the proceeds accordingly. And the third option is business liquidation, which I'm sure all of us would like to try to avoid. So what are some legal strategies to take in order to ensure the protection and longevity of that business? Well, one is a prenuptial or a postnuptial agreement. This is done usually either before or during the marriage, before it's contemplated of having a divorce. And if you have questions about that in particular, there are other videos I've posted about prenuptial and postnuptial agreements, so please feel free to browse the library and get those answers for yourself. Another strategy is having a business strategy or an ownership agreement in place, where you predetermine, for example, percentage ownership of each spouse and what happens if there comes a time where the two of you do get divorced. Another strategy is to always keep your business and personal finances separate. Try to avoid using business funds for personal expenses. This muddies the water where it's very difficult for the court to determine if this is a separate asset. So the chances are they're going to fall back on the fact that it's a community and it needs to be divided. So what happens if we do have to divide this asset? Well, before you can divide anything, you have to know its value. And when it comes to a business, the court is most likely going to need an expert to come in and give a business valuation. Look at your books and figure out all the assets and the debts to determine what is the value and that needs to be divided. You can use that particular figure also during your settlement negotiations. And it's key if you're trying to keep this business alive without having to liquidate it, you're going to have only a couple options. One is to buy out your spouse of their interest, or another way is to try to offset or trade other community assets in lieu of this particular business so you can continue owning it on your own. When things get complicated, it's always important to seek legal counsel. Having a seasoned family law attorney in your corner is going to allow you to avoid any costly errors or mistake when dealing with your divorce and dividing this business. After all, you've worked hard to bring this business to life, and for its longevity, you want to make sure to avoid any foreseeable mistakes. So if you have questions about your particular situation, I welcome you to contact our office. I'm happy to sit down with you one-on-one to discuss your case in more detail.